Hey everybody, TBC here. So I recently did a live stream where I went through a Velious team maker about where I thought the classes kind of end up during the Velious expansion. Well, unfortunately, YouTube sent that live stream video over to the over there, and I had to remove it. But what I was able to do is download it, edited it down, and it is here for you to watch today. Now, with a tier maker, it's always just my opinion. And if your class is down in C or D, hey, you know what, that's just my opinion, and I could be totally wrong. But what I'm primarily looking at is how they play on raids, how fun they are to play, kind of how much damage they do, whether you're going to be topping passes and things like that, which is what can be important to a lot of players, that they are contributing to a guild or to a raid. Now, like for wizards, for example, you can absolutely top some passes on some fights in Velious, but in my opinion, they get a lot more fun to play come Oakwynd with tools like mana burn and so on, and those AA can make them a bit more interesting to play. Whereas right now, and I have a wizard, I have a 60 wizard on a box, and I stand up, I nuke, and I sit down, and that's what my wizard does, other than port my rest of my characters around. So here's the tier maker. Let me know your comments below. Do you think I'm spot on? Do you think I'm really out there? Or where do you think the classes lie in Velious? Well, I'll start with warriors. So where were warriors last time? A. In terms of warrior pros, you're pretty much tanking everything now. Defensive, and you still got all that kind of good stuff which you need, and furious, which you need, so you're starting to get a few buttons to press. But the cons are you don't have AoE, the AoE taunt. You don't have a quick way to aggro if taunt fails. Like if taunt fails and I'm tanking, you see sometimes when you're doing going to a new tank on the raid mob, sometimes it doesn't quite work. Having said that, it feels, I don't know, it feels better these days because we have aggro weapons, so you are generating more aggro, say with the epic and blade of carnage. So those little things help. Still don't have very many buttons to play, and and probably the most gear dependent class in EverQuest is the warrior. So, and it's not just because I'm playing them, but they're not the best group tank for sure. Still, they are pretty much the only tank you're using on raids and Velious. So I'm actually happy keeping warrior at an A tier. I don't know, I find warriors pretty fun to play. I played one on Mischief and it was so much fun. That's why I wanted to do it again. Shadow Knights. Where did I have Shadow Knights last time? A. What new stuff did he get in Velious? I think there's a few new spells, but it's mostly like Kunark stuff, right? It's mostly the Necromancer Kunark spells that they get. Like new damage up time, the proc thing, I forget what it's called. But what I found with Shadow Knights, and I played one on Yellowknack, was come Velious, you're not like the main tank really. What do you tank in Velious on a Shadow Knight? I don't know. What do you tank on a Shadow Knight in Velious? One trash mob in TLV. You're not used if things go sideways because you got the rangers for that with weapon shield. But you are still the best group tank, in my opinion. Like the ability to snap aggro and heal yourself in a group setting is very strong. Yeah, trash and group content. The green drakes, yeah. I always forget. I mean, I tank as a warrior in TOV, and I always forget which drakes I should be tanking or the SKs. The question is, has SK dropped down a tier? In my opinion, and the pre-build aggro, especially by kiting. I mean, yeah, I've seen that a little bit in for Avatar of War and all that kind of stuff. Those ones. So yeah, I have seen them do that with a bard, and just be there. Sometimes, you know, in case there's a big pull, you're getting a few ads. They are still really good in groups. They're like really good in groups, but I feel like when I played an SK, that there's a little bit of a dip from like Kunark, right? That seems to be what I feel. And yes, you get the unholy discipline. I get it. That, you know, it's the increased spell damage, but there's nothing really new. I'd say it's like the weaker stuff. That's the problem with a lot of the knights early on. They didn't really get their own lines per se. They got the weaker versions or the lower level versions of Necro in SK's case. No, I think SK's get a bit more utility in Oakwynd. I'm just struggling where to put them. I'm gonna be controversial. I'm gonna go with B. I just feel like they're not as strong as they were. Still the best group tank. Paladin I had in C, and heals, yeah, stuns, but what do paladins do on raids? I don't know. I actually don't know what paladins do on raids. Maybe I should play one next time. But what do paladins actually do right now on raids? Because they're not tanking anything. They're not resin anymore because click sticks are a thing. So, you know, the DPS is not there. So what do paladins do? Press Holy Forge Discipline? I don't know. Tell me. Who plays a paladin? What do you do? Because I'm struggling with this one. Like a group setting, you know, the heals is always great. The ability to heal yourself is always good. The ability to get aggro as well that paladins have with stuns is great. In a raid, I feel like it's just been a bit of a struggle. Save people. The only good thing you're getting the group heal, Divine Strength, yeah. And I had paladins. Where did I have them last time? I had them dead in C. And again, I don't really feel like Holy Forge is bad, but it's fun. Yeah. A lot of those disciplines are bad early on. But I don't think paladins are gonna shift for me. Healers. So I had Cleric in B in Kunark, and I feel like that was harsh. Where did I have them? B. And I thought that was a bit harsh in Kunark. Maybe I should have had clerics higher. Wait, what do everybody knows what clerics do? You're the best healer. You know, click stick, CH chain, Ago. But hey, I won't say they're boring to play. I played one, but you've got to be the right kind of person who can play a cleric. And I wasn't. I lasted in. I don't think I got out of Kunark on Mangler, main in the cleric. You've got to have that mentality. And a negative to me is that they're super easy to box. That's a negative to me. But they're so good. Like, every group should have a cleric right now. So, I don't know. I feel like they are, I don't know, really, because they are just so great at everything they do. Like, everybody needs a certain amount of clerics. Like, And you never really get replaced to a degree in raids. Main change to Cleric Ink? I don't know. The Cleric Pants. Oh yeah, I don't even create the clicky Cleric Pants. Once you get those, you know, CH Chain and Cleric Pants, I think it's gotta be an S tier for Cleric and Velious. It has to be. And I think I was harsh on them in Kunark because I was looking at the boxing angle too much. Because you'll always get, and if you're grouping, you'll always get a group, and you'll always be, you know, one of the top names on a raid list. And I think clerics have to be in S tier for me on that front because they are so useful in raids. They are so useful in groups. The spells are pretty much required for a lot of the things. On the flip side, they are a little bit boring to play. You know, pressing one key every 10 seconds. You know. You never play up past level 30, but they are absolutely crucial. Crucial, yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm happy that they're S tier this time, and I think I was harsh on them in Kunark. Alrighty. Yeah. Druids. Where did I put Druids last time? C. Yeah, you know, spot healing in raids for the most part. Maybe you're doing a little bit of DPS. You got the heal over time stuff. You get what? Do you even get that much in Velious on Druids? I don't even think you do. Don't you get a pet maybe? Am I thinking? I've never seen it. I've never seen it used. Protection of the Glades, great. You get a new spell. Protection of the Glades is pretty nice because there is the mana component to that. But it's that whole your spot healing. Normally this stage in the TLP there's only one or two. You don't have any competition really for gear. You know, you'll get your gear pretty quick. There's some nice quest stuff if memory serves out playing a grow for druids. But there's still the class you take if you don't have a cleric in your group. You'll always pick a cleric over a druid for the most part to fill that healer spot. And I don't even think they get anything particular like nice in there, like standout. If you get me, like nothing makes me want to say, "Oh yeah, I want to play a druid." Yeah, the druids have a pet, but it's so bad. PLTG. I don't know. Druids have got to be. I just don't like druids in Velious. I really don't. I think they're one of the weakest classes in Velious. Can't like solo. It becomes much harder, and yeah, they can get away with some stuff early on, but like a lot of soloing early on. But I think we'll see more out of them. Maybe come Looklin with like protection of the cabbage and a few more, a bit more DPS maybe, and remove curse. I don't know. I think druids are in a really bad place in Velious. So for me, they are a D. Shamans. Shamans I had in S last time. Because they are such a good class and a fun class to play that's varied. I've never made a shaman. I've only ever boxed one, so it's just you know, a lot of casting spells. But what you get, primal avatar's a big one. You're still canny dancing. You're getting the few new spells, focus. So shamans. Now I'm thinking Velious, where's shamans? Definitely yes in Kunark. Still really good. But I don't know if the rest. It might be controversial and say they're A this time. Might be controversial and say shamans to me in Velious are A. I think that's going to be my controversial take. A lot of people think shamans are S tier all the way through. But I don't know. They don't seem quite as strong in Velious, but maybe that's across the board. Maybe that's a across the board thing. Avatar weapons knocking down a peg, yeah. Monks, to me, in Velious, are still awesome to play. They're a lot of fun. A whole lot of fun. Not really yet replaced as the pullers, and still topping most passes. I still, especially if you get a Gans on a monk in Velious, you're like, I don't know, you're just like up there. You're so good, and so strong. Monk's probably the easiest S class, I still think. For me, in Velious, when you look at passes and see what monks can pop, what monks can pump out, it's one of the highest DPS classes by a long way on the vast majority of fights, and they're a lot of fun to play. Now, I will say, I need a bit less fun these days with like things like auto. Now, don't worry about it, Kevin. Nightfalls is crazy, but amongst somewhat less fun to play these days with auto kick and the auto skill kind of things, maybe. But a lot of being able to DPS right is knowing when to use the discs too. But it is turn on auto attack and I don't know, alt tab to Netflix. But it's such a good class, and I still think they're a lot of fun. If you're a pulling monk, if you're more of a camp monk, you may vary a little bit on that. But camp monks are still really good because they chuck out tons of DPS. So I'm happy with monks still being up there. Alright, we might as well do more, I guess, melee DPS, right? And I'm just looking where we were at in Kunark. Bards. Okay. Bards I had rated really C in Kunark. Because to me they were just like AFK bots. That's all I saw of Bards really in Kunark. Is you sat with the casters, or you sat with the melee and you're playing the songs and you're not really doing all that much on a bard in a raid setting. Now, in a group setting, you might still be pulling, you've still got mezzes, there's still things you can do as a bard in group settings in Kunark, and going into Velious, I don't think that really changes. And you get pretty much just improved versions of what you're already doing. You're getting like the new haste song, Death Dance. That's a fun. If you can Death Dance, that can be a good little tool as well. Much like the Ranger's weapon shield. Now, if the problem, I guess it's a little bit of a negative is bards want to get LCs, the ancient spell, but when you do on Arudu, we gave it to a box because you're forever doomed to be sat with the healers at the back. But bards will have their turn, and Eric, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Come Plains of Power is when bards really turn up the heat. When they get the ability to drop aggro and they're pulling and doing everything. A really well played bard in Plains of Power is one of the strongest classes out there. I think they've gone up though from C. I can't put them in C now, and we're starting to see little bits of them coming out. They're definitely not a C. They're either a high B or a low A right now in Velious. But they're not chucking out DPS at all. And then maybe it's that fun factor that brings them down a little bit to play. But a well-played bard can still do an awful lot. There's just too many bad ones, or boxes. This is where it might get difficult. A well-played bard to me, right now in Velious, is an A. A box bard, or just a regular player who's alt tabbing and whatnot, is more of a B. But yeah, Eric, I think you're right. I think bards are B right now. And I think they're going to move up in Luckland, and I think Plains of Power is when they're going to be right up there at the top. But I'm happy with that right now. Yeah, ready. We'll look at Rangers next. Rangers I had in D. Rangers I had in D. In Kunark. I'm just gonna... And to be honest, for Rangers, I don't think much really changes in Velious. You get Call the Predator. Right? Great. You get Jolt, which doesn't really work on all the time on raids to reduce hate. You don't really have any other ability to reduce it, so you gotta really be careful of your DPS. Yes, you get Weapon Shield. That can save a raid. That can save a raid. If things go wrong. You get that proc thing, Call of Fire. You get Call of Earth you can put on. But there's one fight which you can do okay at using your bow, Lady Nev. Rangers get good in Luckland. And I think that's what they've got to hold out for. Top 10 DPS and most fights. So I've looked at the passes of Rangers in Velious. I still think it's Luckland when Rangers start to go good. Weapon Shield Rangers want to be useful, it's a pat on their heads. And I think that's kind of what it is. Yeah. You either use Weapon Shield at the start of a fight to help build that aggro and get a taunt, or you're using it when things go wrong. But I don't think we're going to see them moving up right now until Luckland. And this is someone that's played a Ranger, you know, so I know what it's like. I know the pain. A lot of people play Rangers though. They are pretty good fun, and you can tank fine. You can tank fine on a Ranger in Velious in a group setting. I don't think I've had any problem tanking anything on my Ranger up to now, at all. So yeah, but even so, they look forward to pop. I think it really starts coming in Luckland for Rangers, and then Plains of Power, and yeah, beyond that, things change a little bit again. But yeah, still D for now. Rogues are a very interesting class. I had them down in C last time. I've seen rogues really starting to pass, like very, very well. They get nothing like new at all, like 0, but they're a very easy class to gear on. And up until this point, I guess, no one's really had much expectations of a rogue. The only annoying thing about rogues in Velious is some of the mobs like to spin around when they summon the tank, and you can lose a lot of DPS if you badly time a backstab or whatnot when that happens. But you're doing more DPS now. You're pushing passes. There's just not many of you. Do you get groups? I mean, yeah, you can get groups. Because they are passing higher, I don't think they'll see anymore. But nothing really new. Easy to gear though. Really pumping out some DPS now. You can give monks a run for your money a little bit on some fights on a rogue, if you really pump out your disciplines. I'm actually going to put them in B now. We're going to up a little bit. And I'm putting them up a little bit just because there is that DPS. Because they are easy to gear, and you can pump out more DPS, but you are objectively a bad monk. Like, you don't have their skills. So yeah, and because you are doing a little bit more, you're still way better than Rangers. So there you go, you've got that. Alrighty, Chanters. I had Chanters in A in Kunark. And then thinking back, maybe they were still S tier in Kunark and in Velious. So Enchanters kind of carry on in the same vein, I think, for most part, in that there's less for them to do on raids. Like, an Enchanter in TOV is nothing but a buff bot. Nothing. Can't mez much. Can't pet anything. Can't mez. I mean, there's a lot that you can't mez as well. You're not casting much in the way of rune. You're mana draining maybe some mobs, but groups you're still really good. You know, with the pet, it's not as strong as it used to be because it got nerfed, but it's still very strong. But it is a class that's kind of on the decline. And I don't know if anybody else has noticed, there's not as many of them around on the servers anymore, come Velious. Absolutely loads of them in Classic, but they get annoyed with having to buff everyone. And then they all drop off during Kunark. So you come into Velious, you maybe only have 2 or 3 enchanters now. And yeah, there's dogs you can pet in Kale. But beyond that, you're not petting, which is the main thing on raids. And then it's a funny thing, even going into like Oakwynd and POP, like with Dire Charm, which is just, I don't know, a funny one because it's only low levels. So you don't even have Kai yet. You're still doing like the same buffs. Yeah, you're still answering tells for haste. You're still doing a lot of, Gift of Brilliance, Gift of Insight, but they're definitely not an S. They're definitely not an A anymore. My question with enchanters in Velious is: are they even a B? In a group setting, they're still good. In a group setting, having that pet and having the ability to mez is actually really good. So to me, yeah, I'm going to go with a B because of their utility in a group. Raids are definitely a huge drop, but still really good in raids. You see loads of them if you're paying for a PL. Yeah, that is true. That is true. You need tons of them now for stuns. Magician. Where did I have Magician last time? B. What's changed for Magicians this time? What has changed? Honestly, I don't think much of anything. You get a new burnout in Velious? It's not really much of anything. New pets. I kind of still like Magicians though. And you do still see a lot of them. The pets are still the same. You can't really use your epic pet on raids, except from do one thing. And then the Magician that does that probably dies as well. They're not going to be passing all that particularly brilliantly. Yeah, we're still effective in groups, still effective soloers. Still one of the easiest classes to play. They don't have pet hold, and that's a big one to me. They're a lot more fun to play, a lot easier to play when you get pet hold. Magicians, let's see. I don't. There's not enough about them, I don't think, to. You don't get the fun toys that you get later on in Planes of Power with like some of the AAs on Magician are actually really fun, like the pet swarming things. Better pets. I remember being very strong on the Magicians with the water pet in Planes of Power and doing a lot of soloing in Fire. Cough still keeps them relevant. QuickBooks healer. But yeah, Cough still keeps them relevant. But when do you use Cough on, like, say, raids? You use them on Yellowknack, and it's usually a box. Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with them in C right now. Necromancers, like I said. Necros I had in B. I always really want to like Necros. My, actually the character I played the furthest on a TLP was a Necro back on Finny. And I had a lot of fun. And on some fights in Velious, you can pass pretty well. pretty well, if I recall, in TOB. You know, because the fights can really suit necromancers because they're so long, and you get Twitch. Which is about, I don't know, Twitch is, again, it's one of those blessing and a curse. Yeah, it's good because you're adding utility, but it takes away your DPS. I really like Necros in Velious. I'm gonna say that. I do. Necros. I want to like Necros. I am gonna keep going back that they were B in Kunark. And I think there's still a B class, to be honest, in Velious. I don't know. A higher B though. Certainly a higher B. The fights just lend themselves really well to Necros in B. You know what? I might even be controversial and push them up to A. I just really like Necros in Velious. I think they're very underrated. So yeah, Necros. Maybe that's my controversial pick for this. Is to put Necros up to A. You can chuck out some really nice DPS as a Necro in Velious. And you've got the utility of Twitch. And that can, again, save a raid. You can solo pretty well in Velious still. So yeah, Necros A. I'm happy with that. And that leaves the Wizard. The Wizard. Where did I have Wizards last time? I had Wizards down in D. For Kunark. But they're not D now. For sure they're not. And even in Kunark, to be honest, a well-played Wizard was always higher. The problem is it's just stand up, cast, sit down. So that doesn't really change all that much for Wizards. You don't have like the mana burn or some of those things, and you know, which has been nerfed to back and glory anyway. You know, what do you get in Velious that you don't have in Kunark? Well, you've got some more spells, some more nukes. What, an ice nuke? You're not really doing anything new, I'd say. But you're not D. You're definitely, Wizards are not D. And maybe I was wrong putting on Wizards in D in Kunark. I need to add E for Wizards. I don't know. I've seen Wizards pass. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's just they're just not a good class right now. And maybe it's when in Luckland. Let me see what you get in Luckland. I need to refresh my memory. Not really much. Except the AAs, obviously. And some of their AAs are good fun. Yeah, they get tons in Plane of Power, though. Some absolute massive nukes in Plane of Power. I like Wizards for the AE, though. I've always liked a Wizard for the AEs. And I have a Wizard... When I 6-box, which is, not, to be honest, not very often, and I'm a terrible 6-boxer. But I do always have a Wizard in that group. One, because I like the utility of having the ports readily available, and I like being able to do some of the AoEs. So when I do a 6-box, I have my tank, which right now is primarily using the warrior. I have a cleric. I have 2 mages, a wizard, and an enchanter. And to be honest, I don't even do all that enchanter very much. But I like having that wizard. They do have that utility, and they do have the damage. But to play, I don't know if I could main one. I think they'd be very tedious to me. Would I rather have a magician or a wizard in my group? I'd rather have the magician, because it's more constant DPS with the pet than the wizard. Like a semi-FK wizard is... well, it's probably just as good. You stand up, cast 1 spell, and then sit back down again, and that's then the whole fight, whether you're in a raid or a group usually. So yeah, I'm happy with that. There we go. There's my tier list for Velious. So we've got Cleric, Monk in S, and I think I'm happy with that. A's, Warrior, Shaman. Necro's a Necro. Is Necro really an A? Really? Or am I just out to lunch on that one? Do I just really like Necros in Velious? B, SK's Bard, Rogues, Chanter. C, Paladin, Magician, Druid, Ranger, Wizard, bringing up the bottom. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. So there you go. There's my tier maker for Velious. And as we kind of enter those last few weeks of Velious, we'll have a lot more content to come. Certainly starting to focus attention now towards looking. I'm hopeful I'll be able to get tons of content to you as we approach Looking and into it. Of course, I want to give a huge shout out to the channel members that really help make these videos possible. Thank you so much for your support. It's very much appreciated. If you're interested in becoming a member, the button is down below. Also appreciate anyone who could like and subscribe to the channel, as that helps continue to grow the channel and help me keep making content about this fabulous game for you all. I am the Breaking Oak, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.